Things just took a shocking turn for the New York Knicks in regards to their plans on who they are signing when it comes to one of the biggest decisions the Knicks still have to make this entire offseason, with multiple names being connected to the Knicks, and now all signs are pointing to the Knicks going in a direction that nobody was expecting, and we're going to break all that down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. We're going to jump right into things as usual. I know it's been a few days. I know I said I was trying to release a video every day, but then you go to the Osheaga Music Festival and your whole life gets thrown off for the next year until the next one. And look, if you're part of that 61% that's not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Let's jump into the video, though. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Leon Rose and the New York Knicks' plans. As we know, the Knicks have 2 free agent signings left, and we've heard a lot of the same stuff. We've heard the Ben Simmons stuff. We've heard a lot about that. But there's also the deal the Knicks have with that rookie scale contract that they are going to sign, that rookie minimum deal. Now, there's been a lot of discussion specifically around Mohamed Diawara and then also James Naji, but most of the discussion has been centered around Mohamed Diawara, and now we have a huge update regarding that really no one should have or could have really seen coming, as New York's team's salary cannot exceed the second apron, $207.8 million mentioned by Ian Begley. And Begley also said they have enough money to sign a rookie free agent. It seems to me that Kevin McCuller is the best candidate for that spot, and a veteran minimum deal as well. They would need to add and make a trade in order to add a third player on a traditional NBA deal. All of New York's two-way spots are open as well, which will have a following impact on this also. Now, the Knicks, they've also maintained interest in Landry Shamet for that final roster spot, which is just a tidbit of news, but we're more going to focus right now on, when it comes down to it, the Kevin McCuller Jr. situation, as that is going to have an impact on things. McCuller barely played for the Knicks at all this season, getting real minutes once against the Brooklyn Nets in the 82nd game of the season, the last game of the year. And McCuller, he put up 1.5 points, 2 rebounds and half an assist, shooting 28% from the field in those very limited minutes. But it's not about that. It's about the numbers that we saw briefly in the G League once he came back from that knee injury. McCuller, who's already 24 years old, put up 11.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, coming into a team that he didn't really have a role in, and they were towards the end of their season. McCuller played well. He put up multiple triple-doubles. He had excellent games and looked like he was ready for NBA action. And on top of that, we also saw him play excellent basketball in his 2 summer league games. Now, he did end up getting injured, and that kind of held him out because the Knicks saw what they had to see out of McCuller and basically moved on. But McCuller put up 21.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists with 1.5 steals in those 2 games that he played in. He averaged those 21.5 points on the shooting. It wasn't the craziest thing from 3, but 51.7% from the field is very good for a guy who's going up against actual young NBA talent as well. So he's not playing just a pack of guys who don't matter, which is an important thing to consider in this situation. Now, when it comes down to it as well, you look at Mohamed Diawara's numbers, and they're not as good at all. I mean, let's be real. Diawara put up 7 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists per game with 1.2 steals. He had his good moments, don't get me wrong. He shot 40% from the field. Again, he's very raw, and that's the thing we know about Diawara when it comes down to it. He is a very raw prospect. The Knicks picked him with the 51st overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft. It's not like this is the Pacome Dadier situation where they did still use a first on him. They used their only draft pick, which was late in the draft, very late, in the final couple of picks, on Mohamed Diawara. Now, the Knicks took this shot because they believe in Diawara. They think he's a very good talent who absolutely can add something to the Knicks going forwards and will be a great player for them down the line. Diawara has shown some of that, and he's gotten a lot of Pascal Siakam comparisons. Siakam, as we know, was also a very raw talent coming into the NBA from overseas after spending most of his life planning on becoming a priest. So when it comes down to it, Diawara does not exactly have the same story as Siakam, where maybe there was a potential situation that the world missed because Siakam wasn't playing basketball until things were changed from an NBA Africa event that, changed Siakam's life and everything that would have ever happened to him. But Diawara, in this case, he's someone who the Knicks are fine slow rolling him. It's not like Diawara is getting up there in age. He's not. He's young. He's in his 20s. He's like 20 years old. So either 20 or 19. So you look at him, and frankly, Diawara is someone who the Knicks should really like. Of what we've seen in Summer League 2, he looks comfortable out there for sure. He definitely said he wasn't initially comfortable and it took some time, but he got there. And that's what matters when it comes down to a guy like Mohamed Diawara, is just getting there. And also, it is going to have an impact on what Leon Rose wants to do going forwards for the Knicks. Who does he want to bring in with that? Now, the other option as well that we could look at is James Naji. Naji did play less minutes and consistently less minutes with the Knicks, as it was pretty clear that the Knicks are probably not going to be going with Naji for that rookie deal, but he will likely get a two-way contract. I'd be very surprised if Naji didn't. He once again has confirmed he's coming overseas. Same thing for Diawara. They are coming into the NBA now. And look, Naji didn't do much in the summer league. He played 13 minutes a game, put up 3 rebounds, 3 points, 4 rebounds. Wasn't a bad showing. I'm not acting like he didn't do anything positive. He absolutely had his moments. But at the end of the day, McCuller and Diawara are better, and because of that, what we're seeing is a Knicks team that definitely is going to go in the way of one of McCuller or Diawara, and now it seems like it's McCuller. Now, personally, I think that Kevin McCuller is the right choice here as well. I think the Knicks are right for this for 2 main reasons. One, he's older, and that's a two-parter. Because he's older, it also means he's ready. And we've seen them both play, and this is the other reason. No shade towards Diawara. Kevin McCuller is better at basketball today than Mohamed Diawara is, so why would you put McCuller on another two-way contract? Also, McCuller did everything correctly that he could have possibly done within his control. I think the Knicks are going to see that and decide we're going to reward him with this roster spot. Also, we trust the 24-year-old to go out there and play meaningful basketball after 5 years of college than a very raw prospect in Diawara, who, yes, we do think has an incredibly high ceiling that we could work with down the line and today, but that's going to come in the G League in year one. And I mean, for reference, like Pascal Siakam. So that is something that we do have to be aware of when looking at this whole situation. But I think also McCuller, he fits what the Knicks need a little bit more. The Knicks could use someone who's around that 6'6", 6'7" range. He plays a similar role to Josh Hart, and it's not like McCuller or Diawara, and certainly not Naji, are going to go out there and be laser three-point shooters. That's what I have wanted for this Knicks team, is a laser three-point shooter on that final roster spot. So to me, Shamet works. But if you sign Shamet, you're also saying to yourself, all right, our bench in this situation, when it comes down to it, is going to be Jordan Clarkson, Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet. That's a small trio out there next to Josh Hart or Mitchell Robinson, but next to Josh Hart and Ariel Hukporti. Or Gershon Yabusele, I should say. But also Hukporti gets involved, too, in some instances. And then McCuller, Dadier, they're both involved. They're both in year 2, like Hukporti. Now, Hukporti looks a little bit better than both of them right now, but we'll see how all that goes. Obviously, we have another summer to see what happens. Pacome had some good minutes as well before getting hurt. So we'll see how it all kind of works out for the Knicks. But I do want to see this go to Kevin McCuller Jr. Have all 4 of the rookies you did take and you were big fans of get put on this team this year, and then just do what you did with Hukporti and McCuller to start the year. Now, Hukporti got on the main contract, but what you did with them, which was just put him on a two-way, put Diawara on a two-way for a year. It doesn't mean he's never going to get there. Also, it's become increasingly common to do that with your late second-round picks anyway. You're just reserving the rights to not allowing any other team to sign someone to a two-way contract. That's what you're doing here. So that's what the Knicks should do. That's the smart move if you ask me. What's a smart move in your opinion? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm getting my words a little bit jumbled. Words are hard, and also on top of that, just frankly, I just spent 3 days at a music festival in Plains, and I'm tired, man. I'm tired. You'll get better content in the morning.